First shot at 150 with the Shadow 2 carry. The CZ Shadow series has been a very popular pistol for some time now, especially for competitive users. They launched the Shadow 2 Compact a while back, and now they have brought the Shadow 2 Carry to market. And this one has that Shadow feel to it with a darked out look that many of us wanted in an all-metal EDC piece from CZ. There are some changes on this version as compared to its predecessors. Probably the biggest changes are the decocker instead of a manual safety, a redesigned slide release, and those muted black tones instead of those brighter colors like orange and blue that we are used to seeing on the Shadow 2 series from CZ. But me, I'm a big fan of that blacked out Vader look, and it also has a striker block safety in it for drop safe concerns. But it still maintains those attributes that made the Shadow 2 so popular. Great ergonomics, a very nice double action, single action trigger, 15+1 capacity, direct to slide optics cut for an RMSC, and that firing pin block system in there is located towards the rear of the slide. It's very similar to a striker rig. So as you pull the trigger, there's a disconnector arm that goes up with the help of the trigger pull, and it pushes that striker block out of the way. It's also got very nice usable metal sights for backups should your optic ever go down, and they are usable while the optic is on the pistol. It's very carryable as well for an EDC piece with its 4-inch cold hammer forged barrel. The frame is forged aluminum and the machine work all around is just top notch. The overall length is 7.5 inches. It's 5.4 inches tall and about 1.5 inches thick. And should you decide to run an accessory on this thing like a light, you've got a multi-slot pick rail out front. Now the range work on this one was just a treat. All of the 124 grain Badlands munitions I ran on this day was covered by Brownells. Badlands are my boys out here in Arizona with the consistency and the quality control that I need out of my practice ammunition. And Brownells is just an industry favorite that does a lot for the community. And if you guys are interested in anything that you see here or we talk about today, I will have a parts list link down below so you can do all of your own research. And for those of you brave souls watching this in your employer's break room, casting at the TV so everybody can take advantage, I'll put the QR code for you right here. And if you guys are in need of ballistic eye protection for range work that can actually double as like good looking sunglasses to go out and wear in your normal life, and some comfortable ear protection that's electronic and sounds really good, make sure you check out the Shell Shock stuff. I'll have it linked in the description down below. And I pretty much changed to only wearing ballistic rated eye pro out on the range. I used to just wear some sunglasses sometimes, but I caught some spall to the face and my lip recently and in my mouth, and it did some pretty good damage. Now that accident can happen, and had I not been wearing ballistics and that hit me in the eye or not been wearing eye pro at all, that could have taken an eye out. And I kind of like my eyeballs. So if you want something that's good, consistent, affordable, and actually looks good to wear with your normal clothes as well, check them out at the link down below. One thing you definitely need to remember and know about this pistol is it is a single action, double action trigger. Now, if you don't know what that means, now the hammer is in the fully cocked position right there, as you can see. So you're only completing one action by pulling the trigger. It's just releasing the hammer. So every time that slide reciprocates, you get a much lighter pull because it's only completing one action. The double action stands for you're pulling the trigger, it's cocking the hammer, and then it goes off. So on this model, instead of a manual safety, you have a decocker right there, which puts that hammer in the like half cock safety lock position, if you've ever heard that. Now, when you put it in that decock position like that, your trigger pull about doubles, and it's heavier on the first one, but then the slide reciprocates and you go back to that single action, much lighter pull. Now, if you carry something like this for EDC, you want to carry it in the decocked position. That is in effect your safety for this style of pistol. And it's pretty easy to control out there in the range because that thing weighs 30 ounces. So that's a pretty good amount of weight to put behind a pistol, especially in a shorter configuration like that, to help you soak up some of that recoil out there. And it's got plenty of texture to help you keep control of the thing as well, from the front strap to the back strap, those side panels on there for the grip inserts. It's just plenty. Even when I was getting a little bit sweaty out there in Arizona, there was enough grip to keep the thing in the hand without having to, you know, kind of readjust, or what they call like milking the grip, where you got to keep like changing your grip on it or something. Between the front strap and the back strap and those side panels, it's aggressive yet not abrasive. It chewed through all of that 124 grain Badlands munitions without issue, which is really what you should expect from a CZ pistol and from good quality ammunition like Badlands. Now, having that optic cut direct to slide pretty low is definitely nice, keeps that overall deck height low. Even doing reloads out there the first time, it was pretty slick. The controls were easy to manipulate, they were easy to get to, even with my bigger sized hands on a smaller sized pistol. Now it's overall the same size as the Shadow 2 Compact. So if you have one of those already or have a holster for it, this one's gonna fit in the same holster. And in light of the Shadow 2 series being a favorite for competitors out there, I figured why not take a compact pistol to ridiculous distances out to past 100 yards and see what kind of accuracy we can get. So we'll take a look at that footage right now. All right, so we're gonna start some distance with the Shadow 2 carry. We're gonna start at 50 yards on a C-zone plate of steel, and I've marked out all the way to 100, just to see if we can get there. All right, so got it that time. I'll give it one more. All right, so 50's pretty easy. I'm using I think this version of the Holosun is 6 MOA. All right, 75 yards, C-zone steel. You can see it in the background. Yes, I'm shooting between two trucks because I know how to shoot and I feel comfortable doing that. First round impact, so we'll leave it there and we'll move further back. All right, so we're back at 100 yards, so you can see between the trucks. Let's see if we can get a first rounder, hopefully, right? Did you hear that one?
You're way high.
Dude, how did that happen?
Yeah, I saw you like shut the top of the mountain.
Yeah, something's not right.
Yeah.
There we go.
There it is. That was a
Where
weird
my
one.
dot was, that was weird. There we go. 2 hits, 100 yards. We'll go further back. All right, we're now back at 125. So you can see target's way back there. And we'll give this one the good old college try, as they say. Make sure I'm actually recording. Oh, dude, the dot just totally covers the target. Listen up. There we go. Hit at 125. All right, we're now back to 150. We're gonna give this one a shot. I brought an extra mag for this one.
Oh, nice.
First shot at 150 with the Shadow 2
Where are you
carry.
holding it, do you know?
That's pretty spicy for a little compact style pistol like that. It always just puts a huge smile on my face when you hear the steel ring shooting a compact pistol like this from 150 yards. And there is no doubt in my mind somebody with a higher skill level than me could push this thing way further for some bragging rights and just a little bit of fun out there on the range. So it seems to me that following suit with the other CZ75 or Shadow series, the accuracy is definitely there if you are doing your job as the end user. But what else makes this little pistol so nice to shoot? And there are a couple of things, because as you look at this, it's got a little bit of a higher bore axis, right? But when you look at the low deck height of that slide, it's literally thinner than my finger. So it's not a ton of reciprocating mass, right? I mean, look how short that slide is to it. And then also up on the inside right here, it's like all rail. So the entire slide is interfacing with the entire rail system in there, which is gonna help keep that slide in place and kind of soak up some of the recoil as well. Let's go ahead and take a good look at the trigger up close, see what you get, and of course, talk about the factory breakdown. All right, what are we gonna get with our new Shadow 2 carry model? Obviously, you're going to get the optics ready pistol right there. You will get this nice kind of hard shell case with some line work in it, kind of triangular rises in it. Pretty cool. You get inside enough room to store the full-size pistol. It is a little tight when the optics are on the slide, but it will fit down in there very securely. You will get 2 magazines in there. I know it should be 3. You'll get your manuals, all that stuff in here. A little extra storage room back here. You'll get your lock and then a nice little cleaning kit that comes with the CZ pistols. So overall, pretty standard case. hard grab handle in there, and it's got some areas down here to where it'll sit straight up like that if you put it down. So the actual pistol itself, right, you can see how it fits in the size of an XL to almost 2XL sized hand right there. Very solid. You've got great texture on the back strap, the front strap, all the way around the grips. The way they've done the chamfering cuts right here is just awesome for those bigger, larger fingers to help slide right in there and get to the trigger. You can see the low deck height on that slide is pretty crazy. You've got good sights that are usable while the optic is on, that don't obscure the entire optic window like big, huge suppressor sights will. And overall, it's just a comfortable package. And of course, plenty of room for those accessories up front, those front serrations, rear serrations, just overall solid setup. So looking at that trigger, if we're in the single action mode, there's your take up, the brake. Very, very solid. If you are in the full hammer down, you're starting way out there. Lots of trigger movement on that version. And then from our decocked position, there's your wall, very smooth on the take up. Pull the hammer and it breaks. So overall, this thing is pretty solid. So we're gonna do trigger pulls on each trigger pull setup here. So whether it's hammer all the way down, decocked, or single action. Let's get this thing ready to go. This is going to be the heaviest pull because we got all the trigger movement. So that went to 9 pounds and 4 ounces on a full trigger pull. Let's go ahead and go from single action this time so you can see the difference. It's going to be quite big, I promise you. So that's pretty slick. 1 pound and 13 ounces. I'm gonna do that again and slow it down. I might have pulled that a little fast, which can affect the reading on this gauge. So right from the center of the trigger, 1 pound, 13 ounces again. Now let's go from the decocked position, which is gonna be a little bit heavier. Gauge wants to go up slightly just by moving it. So that, oop, did that not break? I don't think I pulled that one all the way. Let's go ahead and reset that. I slipped. We'll go ahead and do that one again. Decocked position. There we go. So 6 pounds and 9 ounces. So you can see the difference in how each of those trigger pulls will react based on this system. Let's talk factory maintenance and cleaning here. So your disassembly process, remove the feeding device, ensure that it is clear, put the hammer in the decock position. Now when you pull the slide back, you'll meet resistance right about there. That's the point where these two notches in the slide right here line up. And that's what you need to line up in order to push out the pin on this side. So go ahead, pull your slide back, get your Burt's Bees, which I know you guys carry out there on the range. Go ahead and push that pin from this side, and then you can go reach over here, grab, pull. That slide will come completely apart like that, and you're ready to do your factory maintenance. Now, this is also, I'll hold the hammer here. You can see right there, that little arm moving up and down. That's what interfaces with your striker block safety right in there. So it is going to be drop safe. And then you can see everything is rail. That whole area right there is rail that interfaces right here all the way down that slide. So that's what's going to help give this thing a feel like few other pistols its size. And then to put it back together, you just do the exact opposite right there. Doesn't get much easier than that. Can be done with a tube of Burt's Bees. Now this is an all metal carry piece that I could actually get down with. And I do have a test group of 2 of these things because my buddy Jonathan got one as well. And since both of them have worked out perfectly, that's a very good sign, because only having a sample size of 1, 5 other people could get them and they could be no good. But since I started off with 2 and they've both been perfect, that's a very good sign of the consistency of these and the fact that the 75 and the Shadow series has been out for a great many years. Now, CZ did send this out prior to launch, like many other companies do send rifles and pistols in for the channel for testing. And then a lot of other companies don't send pistols and rifles in because they're afraid of that no free pass review thing. So I don't know the amount of galactic notes it would take to acquire one of these things in the wild, but I'm assuming that it's going to probably be right at the same factor of cost that the compact version is. And speaking of that no free pass review, is there anything that happened, problems or things that I would change? So mechanically, functionally, the thing is outstanding. It's exactly what I would expect from this style of pistol, but there are a few things that I'm going to bring up, a couple of which are mine, and one of which I know is going to come up in the comments. So we're going to talk about that one first, and that is going to be the lack of a manual safety or a trigger shoe safety, right? So here's how you have to look at this thing. In the decocked position, you now have a double action style trigger pull. It's much heavier, and that is in fact your safety. Think about a revolver. How many revolvers do you see out there that have safeties on them? Most do not. Why? It's because that heavy trigger pull is in fact your safety, along with safe manipulation of your firearms. Now, if you are carrying this for EDC, right, and that thing is in the decocked position, which it should be, and you are putting this in your holster and you are feeling 5, 10, 11 pounds of resistance putting that thing back in the holster, that's wrong with any pistol. I don't care if it's a striker fired pistol with a trigger shoe safety, a pistol like this. If you've got that much resistance going into the holster, you need to pull out, reassess, and determine whether you want to jam that thing back in there, because something is wrong. So do I think it is unsafe? Absolutely not. People carry double action, single action revolvers for a great many years. And as long as you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're not going to have an issue. And the addition of the firing pin block in there just makes it a little bit safer than some of the older versions were. Now, two things that I think could be just a little bit better, because mechanically and functionally it ran perfect out on the range, and I actually quite like how this little pistol looks, feels, and runs. The first thing is going to be the magic number of magazines, 3, right? Should just be the industry standard, and I think most of us feel the same way, especially when the factor of galactic notes spent is probably going to be around $12.99. We should get 3 magazines. And the last thing I think would just be put kind of like the cherry on top, a magwell. So an included magwell around here I think would just be absolutely prime. I love magwells, most of you know that. I think they're the bee's knees. They generally can only help you, they don't hurt you. It helps with magazine exchanges, gives you a little bit more purchase on that grip if you have a larger hand. And I think that that would just put this thing over the top and make it absolutely prime. And personally, I think if you like the Shadow series, you are absolutely going to dig the carry option that they have out now, especially now that it has that firing pin block. Make sure you get subbed up to the channel. The information list will be down below. The QR code is right up here. Remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.